This is Part 3 Episode 178. Kang Bird Star, one of the 8 great logistics bases of humanity. It was also the transportation point for the Universe Army. Large amounts of the army would be sent to the outer region wars from here. It was a very important location. We've arrived. That's Kang Bird Star. Luo Feng gazed at the huge planet from his blood-colored triangular ship. Kang Bird Star had a diameter of 1.028 million kilometers. It was a man-made planet, it was a fortress. Luo Feng, we've received a signal from Kang Bird Star. Barbata shouted from the control room, it's already been answered, just follow their instructions. Luo Feng nodded. The Yunmo planet ship swiftly entered Kang Bird Star. Within its landing points. Wow, an F-grade ship, completely covered in hybrid copper essence. This ship should at least be a few million mixed elements. A silver-armored man said shocked. At this time, Luo Feng flew out from the ship and kept it within his world ring. How are you? I'm a worker here. The armored man smiled. He was shocked within, looking at his forehead. It's a law-recognized sector lord. A sector lord could actually afford a ship like this. He must have a huge background. Luo Feng glanced at him. This man's head was like a jellyfish, somewhat translucent. I requested to enter the outer region wars. Where do I head to? Luo Feng asked. The universe armies are all gather here. The lone wolves all follow this pathway to another gathering spot. The man pointed to a distant transparent glass-made pathway. This pathway is over 3,000 kilometers long. The end of it is where the gathering spot is. Thanks. Luo Feng nodded. He followed the pathway, every step passing over a few tens of kilometers. After a while, he reached the end. It was a beautiful scenic plaza with over 10,000 people gathered there. As it was huge with a diameter over 100 kilometers, the 10,000 people barely filled it. How do you do? Please head this way to rest. An enchanting lady worker with a furry tail walked over and said. When will we head out to the wars? Luo Feng asked. We have to hit a certain number of people, otherwise the cost of travel alone would be too high. The lady smiled. Sector Lord, your timing is already good. Many like you have already been waiting here for 12 days. The lone wolves gathering are after all not like the armies. The armies that come here are all extremely vast. The lone wolves take time to fill up to hit a number. Luo Feng nodded. He walked to the side. There were many alloy benches where many soldiers wanting to participate in the wars were scattered throughout. Luo Feng sat casually. Hey, how do you do? Another has come. 2 similar-looking sector lords with fur on their faces like wolf men walked over. Luo Feng looked up curiously at the 2 of them. These 2 were both sector lord pinnacle, and from their forehead, they were both recognized by their laws. One had to know that even though there were over 10,000 people there, most of them were domain lords, and very few of them were sector lords and universe level. There were even less universe levels than domain lords, mainly because they were very weak. Few universe level lone wolves would come take part in the wars, just the far distance of flying alone would be a huge deterrence. Luo Feng nodded, I'm alone. One person coming to Kang Bird Star alone, it must have been hard. We brothers took a ship over, it took a total of 12 years to get here. The bigger Wolfman sector lord smiled, after which, he and his brother sat on an opposite bench. With a flip of his hand, a bottle of wine and 3 glasses appeared. World Energy Control. He poured the wine and it floated before the 3 of them. Thanks. Luo Feng lifted his glass. I'm okay though. My travel time isn't as long as 12 years. Ah. The Wolfman laughed loudly. I'm called Klaus and this is my younger brother Bardi. The skinnier Wolfman seemed humble, he nodded at Luo Feng and said hi. I am called. Luo Feng muttered, Madman. Madman. The 2 Wolfman sector lords knew straight away that was a nickname. And such a nickname was too common. Many within the army didn't reveal their true names, they preferred nicknames. And 1 out of 100 were probably called madmen. They both felt like Luo Feng didn't want to reveal his true name. Naturally they didn't ask. Ah, look, another sector lord has come. The stronger-looking wolfman looked into the distance. Luo Feng glanced over. It was another sector lord. There are already 96 sector lords here. The skinnier Badi said softly. We are close to leaving. They always have to gather 100 sector lords before sending out the troops. This is truly, after traveling in space for 12 years, I have to come here and wait even more. Not killing after so many years, my blade is starving. The older brother said unhappily. Luo Feng answered sparsely to both of them, not revealing anything about himself. Luo Feng was very clear that as a disciple of the primal chaos city leader, there were many warriors out there that wanted to kill him. Caution was extremely important. It was best not to reveal his identity. The strong were numerous as the wind in the outer region wars. If he revealed his identity early on, the dangers would probably multiply by 100 times. Luo Feng waited for a day, and the number of sector lords that arrived had finally reached 100. Universe level, gather here. Domain lords, gather here. Sector lords, all come here. The entrance of the pathway opened and over 10,000 lone wolves swiftly split apart. Luo Feng got up and gathered with the other sector lords. As they gathered, another one came, making the total number of sector lords 101. It made them all discuss about the luck of the last female sector lord, not having to wait at all. All sector lord soldiers, you will be heading to the most glorious and most brutal outer region wars. An undying emanating powerful killing aura. His entire body looked like it was made of metal that stood before them. However, you must all understand, the army has its rules, you won't be as relaxed as before. Luo Feng and the other 100 sector lords listened. Before we leave, I need all of you to go through the traditional authority award ceremony. The Undying emphasized. Authority award ceremony. What does it mean? What's that? The group of sector lords all discussed amongst themselves. It was obvious that most of these lone wolves didn't know much about the details of taking part in the outer region wars. The Undying seemed to know this. He continued, this ceremony is to confirm your position in the army, the level of command and so on. Hence, we need to award you your authority within the army, and how we do it is to test your strengths. Are they going to make us fight? Test. Some sector lords shouted out. Wrong. The Undying shook his head. Every one of you have probably trained countless times within the virtual universe network, and the network will judge you based on your performance within. This judgment is very important to your position within the army. The judgment is split into 3. One is a normal sector lord soldier, the second is an elite sector lord soldier, and the third is a sector lord general. Most sector lords are normal sector lord soldiers. With law recognition, they can barely be considered elite soldiers. Out of 100 elites, there may be an occasional sector lord general. The Undying said, I believe every one of you have displayed your true strength in the virtual universe before. If anyone has never done so, and you are worried your position may not be fair, you can now enter the virtual universe network and do so. In a while, the ceremony will begin. The Undying went silent for 10 seconds before speaking again. Shouldn't be a problem now, right? All of you come one by one to receive your position. The 101 sector lords walked up to him, and his armband shot out a blue light that covered the sector lords that approached him. Elite sector lord soldier. Normal sector lord soldier. Elite sector lord soldier. Elite sector lord soldier. His armband automatically shouted out the positions. Also, every sector lord that received his post would get a mail from the virtual universe system. The higher one's authority was, his position in the army too would naturally be different. Luo Feng looked at this and was shocked. There are so many elites. According to theory, normal sector lord soldiers should make up most of the army. Seems right. Those lone wolves that dare go to the wars alone all have confidence in themselves. Most of them have acquired law recognition. The sector lords all lined up to receive their posts. It quickly reached Luo Feng's turn. The blue light engulfed him and shouted out. Sector Lord General. This scene immediately made a large number of the sector lords, including the distant domain lords and universe levels collecting their posts, all turned over shocked. Amongst the 101 sector lords, there was actually one general. Not bad. The Undying glanced over shocked at Luo Feng, nodding his head. Luo Feng walked to the side calmly. The other sector lords continued to receive their posts. Elite Sector Lord Soldier. Normal Sector Lord Soldier. Sector Lord General. Once again, the group all turned over. Within this group of 101 sector lords there were actually 2 sector lord generals. Luo Feng looked over too. This was a 3-meter tall, well-built youth. His eyes gleamed like 2 blades clashing. They made it so that no one dared look down on him. He looks quite strong. I wonder where he's from. Luo Feng glanced at him and didn't think much about it. The ceremony ended quickly. There were a total of 2 sector lord generals, 62 elites and 37 normal soldiers within the 101. The sector lord and universe level ceremonies ended quickly. Even with 10 of them receiving their posts simultaneously, the domain lord level ceremony took quite a while. The ceremony has all ended. The Undying's voice suddenly boomed, resounding throughout the over 10,000 soldiers' ears. Follow me, we will send you all in a group to the outer region wars. This race wars involve a large amount of soldiers. There are a total of 11 battlefields, and all of them are outside our territories. Hence they are called the outer region wars. You'll all be heading to the 7th battlefield. 7th. All outside humanity's territories. My teacher is in the 2nd battlefield. Looks like there's no hope of meeting him. Discussions popped up all over. Luo Feng thought to himself, 7th battlefield. Average death rate is 96.8%, it's ranked 3rd amongst the 11 battlefields. Seems like a good place to train. Depart, the Undying ordered. Immediately, the over 10,000 soldiers moved forward. Luo Feng and the other sector lords were naturally right at the front. After a while, they arrived at a huge hall. The palace had a diameter of over 1,000 li. This huge hall had 11 huge space water screen pathways. This is the pathway that heads to the 7th battlefield. The Undying walked towards it. The 7th battlefield is a huge universe region, with a diameter of about 1.1 million light-years. Of course, with trillions of years of war within, the region itself isn't dangerous at all. The main threat is the other races and the enemies. The 7th battlefield has a total of 100 soldier bases. You'll be transported to the 26th base. The pathway was 1 kilometer wide. It was also 1 kilometer tall. The sector lords all entered and Luo Feng stepped in too. Over 10,000 soldiers all entered. With the God Country as the hub, Luo Feng and the others quickly reached the God Country stop and once again entered the pathway, being transferred to the 7th battlefield's 26th base. Luo Feng stood at the God Country stop and stepped through. He felt the time and space before him warp, as he instantly reached another spot. Ha, the new soldiers are here. There are new soldiers. Quickly, hurry, stop wasting time, there are things to do. Orders were shouted immediately. Luo Feng saw 10 white armored soldiers. They weren't all completely in armor. There was one white-haired Undying in a white robe. He smiled at them, his eyes gleaming with thunder within. New soldiers, welcome to the 26th base of the 7th battlefield. Sector lords follow him, domain lord will go with this punk, universe levels will all follow that little lady. The white-robed Undying swiftly introduced the 3 guides. Universe level, domain lord and sector lords all followed different pathways. Sector lords, ahead lies the sector lord camp. The guide said. After a while, they reached an elegant hall. Within 10 million seats were located. With just one glance, Luo Feng could see that there were already a few hundreds of thousands of sector lords sitting within. How are there so many sector lord soldiers? Luo Feng was shocked. Each universe country only has a few million sector lords, and humanity only has 1,008 universe countries. And there are a total of 11 battlefields, every one with 100 bases. On average, How many sector lords can there be in one base? It can't be such that all of humanity's sector lords are fighting in the wars, right? And in theory, there should be many out fighting, only very few staying in the base. How can there be so many here? The other 100 sector lord new soldiers were shocked too. Alas! The guide shouted loudly, the new soldiers are here, there are 2 generals in this new group, ha ha. The guide finished and simply left. Sector lord generals. Generals. The other soldiers that were originally drinking and chatting all ran over 10,000 of them. When the soldiers got close to each other, their quantum computers would immediately inform each other of their positions. Hence, the over 10,000 soldiers all turned their attention to Luo Feng and the other tall youth. Join our elite team, we have an undying leading our team. The army contribution points are much more, and the chances of survival are much higher as well. Our little team is stronger. You too. The old soldiers madly invited Luo Feng and the other, they couldn't even be bothered with the other 99 new soldiers. After a while, Luo Feng and the other youth sat at the dining table, beside them sat a blood-armored undying with a scaled snake tail. This undying was called Tai Wo, his was a ground undying. And as he was the first undying to actually go invite them, Luo Feng and the other sector lord general chatted with him despite the over 10,000 sector lords clamoring to invite them. As to whether they would join, no one agreed yet. Captain Tai Wo, why are there so many sector lords here? Luo Feng asked. There are a total of 11 battlefields and every one of them has 100 bases. How can there be so many resting here? I am curious too. The youth beside him asked. Tai Wo poured some wine for himself, we'll drink and chat. Madman, Rock, it's not just you two, there are many new soldiers that are curious too as to why there are so many here. If you actually interact with many of them, you'd find out the reason easily. Luo Feng and Rock looked at him. The 1008 universe countries of humanity are actually just one part of humanity. The captain smiled. From what I know, there are many continents within secret regions that have countless humans living within, and those large continents have diameters of over 100 billion kilometers etc. The population on these continents can match that of a universe country. Luo Feng was shocked. Continent. Right? The Goldhorn race lived in Laos world, that itself was a supercontinent. The Blood River world was one too. The number of warriors on these 2 continents definitely exceeded that of a universe country. Humanity's territories lead into many of these secret region continents. And these are filled with universe energies. The humans living there all mostly become star travelers at maturity. The number of strong warriors are plenty. Tai Wo smiled. That's just one part of it. There are large amounts of people living within Undying's God countries too. People within God countries, secret regions, universe countries, these form humanity. Tai Wo smiled. Many of our life and death brothers grow up within God countries, and some in the supercontinents. However, their materialistic wealth cannot compare to ours. Just like the virtual universe network, they can only access it when they reach universe level. Luo Feng was shocked when he heard. He immediately sent a thread of consciousness into the network to check. With his authority, he immediately found lots of information. Humans, according to their living environments, could indeed be separated into God country, secret regions and universe humans. The number of universe humans weren't that many. One had to know that the secret region had continents akin to a universe country, and it was easy to build over 10,000 large continents within these secret regions. And the God countries of Undyings were incredibly vast, many humans could live within. So, large amounts of humans can live in the secret regions. Then why do we still have to fight for territory? When Luo Feng had gone to Laos world before, he was curious about this. Only after becoming the disciple of the primal chaos city leader did he have the authority to search for answers. The war was for territory. Why fight? According to the information he found, it was just like a plant life form requiring sufficient sunlight. The moment the population was too dense, all the plants wouldn't grow well. Same logic. The formation of life was very special, whether it was flesh and blood or automaton, or plants etc. As long as there is life, during its growth, it would absorb the universe's essence. The production and growth relied on the absorption of this special energy. For example, with a 1,000 light-year area, with only one life planet and 10 billion people on that planet, almost all of the universe energy within that 1,000 light-year area will be given to that planet. And the secret regions. If the population comparable to a universe country were all squeezed within a huge continent, its population density was much higher, hence the essence they received was naturally much lower. The God country humans. The God countries exist in slits of space, not the actual space itself. The universe essence absorbed was even lesser than that of the secret region humans. The information said, God country humans, their numbers are the most plentiful, they can only train till sector lord level. Over countless years, the number of undyings produced only reaches 9,082, they all had miraculous encounters. Without these encounters, they are set never to reach undying. Universe secret region humans rank number 2 in population. They can reach undying like the universe humans, however, the chances of them reaching night is extremely low. Universe humans, least in population, they own the most territory. There have been many undyings in history, and the number of nights in humanity, 98.2% of them are from the universe humans. Territory was like a fertile land. The larger it was, the stronger the race could grow, the chances of producing absolute warriors would be higher too. Within the hall. Among the sector lord soldiers, most of them are from the God countries. Luo Feng asked. Right? Tai Wo nodded. Luo Feng was shocked. The God country humans probably didn't know of the secret that their chances of becoming undying were extremely low, even producing one was extremely rare. The sector lords themselves probably didn't even feel this problem. The number of soldiers from the God countries are the most. Hence, many sector lord warriors are from the God countries. Tai Wo laughed. Through many life or death situations and threats, their strength will grow, and gaining enough contribution points, they can exchange for treasures to strengthen themselves. Even though they are only sector lord, they can match up against normal undyings. The three chatted and drank. At this time, a sector lord walked over. Luo Feng glanced at him. He was a 1m tall punk with a cute round face. There was a green engraving on his cheek. He stood at 1m tall like a child. The armor he wore, however, was not ordinary. Hi, Captain, have you pulled them in? The short sector lord pulled a chair over and sat noisily beside them. It's not that easy. 30% of the new sector lord soldiers are only elites. 0.3% of them are generals. To actually have a general amongst the new recruits is already extremely rare, and these people aren't easily convinced. Tai Wo smiled, after which he turned to Luo Feng and Rock. Let me introduce you, this is. I can do it myself. The short sector lord picked up a glass and poured himself a full glass. Smiling at the two of them, he said, I am a member of Captain Tai Wo's team, the sector lord team 0262089491. You can call me Poison. I am a chemist, of course. I'm also a sector lord general. Poison. Chemist. Sector lord general. Luo Feng was shocked. The strong were mainly made of fighters, spirit readers and illusionists, the three great paths. Puppeteers, chemists and beast tamers etc. were extremely rare, especially chemists. It was extremely hard to make any progress with it. Back then, during universe level, there was a universe level genius in the absolute beginning region Yufeng. He was a chemist. The chemists could win over people much stronger than themselves. They were the most dangerous to be underestimated. Even a god had to be careful against one, as their battle strength was determined by their potions. There are a total of 8 in our team including me. I am an undying. The other 7 are sector lord generals, of which 2 are fighters, 2 are spirit readers, 2 are illusionists, and 1 is a chemist. Tai Wo said proudly, Poison is very important in our team. My 2 new friends, come, let's toast. The dwarf Poison smiled and lifted his wine glass. Luo Feng and Rock lifted their glasses. Even though my 7 members are all generals, they are all those that have gone through countless life or death battles and gotten stronger over time, until they were finally awarded the general position. Only Poison, He was a general when he first came. Taiwo looked at both of them. I wonder if you two are willing to join my team. We are still short of 2 members. For a small sector lord team like ourselves, we are definitely one of the most exceptional. You won't be disappointed if you join us. Taiwo is a good captain. The dwarf Poison drank his wine and occasionally said a couple of things. The tall and calm youth nodded. I, Rock, am willing to join your team. Ha ha, good. The undying Taiwo was very happy. He turned to Luo Feng. Will Madman join us too? There were many thoughts within Luo Feng's mind. The army had its rules. Everyone who took part in the wars had to fulfill their own requests. Luo Feng naturally had to do so too. Before accumulating sufficient contribution points, one had to join a group and take orders. Since that was so, joining a more elite sector lord team seemed like a good idea. Okay. Luo Feng nodded. Ha ha. The Undying was very happy. He turned to look in the distant corner, using his god energy to communicate. Come here all of you. Very quickly, 6 silhouettes came from distance. They were of all sizes, some built, some small, some enchanting while others cold and filled with killing aura, and another smiling happily as he looked at the 2. One was over 6 m tall, seemingly made of red rocks with 2 bent horns on his forehead. There was a rhombus crystal engraved there. He was from the Mother Flame race. Another was enchanting, a lady of the Demon Lady race covered in fog. The 6 of them came over, all dragging a chair and sitting about. The 10 of them gathered. Let me introduce you. The Undying Taiwo pointed about. This is the new soldier sector Lord General, you can call him Madman. Madman? That's an arrogant nickname. A skeleton-like man sat at the side, carrying a silky white-furred cat. This cat had purple eyes and seemed to enjoy its owner's stroking. Wei. Don't pick a fight. The chemist Poison, who had already drank a lot, frowned as he ordered. Wei, little Chen Chen is right. The Demon Lady sector lord smiled. Don't call me little Chen Chen. The dwarf Poison raged. You can call me by my real name Zhu Chen, not little Chen Chen. I like the name Poison too. Little Chen Chen is angry. The lady covered her mouth and laughed. Poison looked helplessly at her, continuing to drink his wine. The captain Tai Wi laughed at the scene and pointed at the tall youth. This is another sector Lord General, you can call him Rock. Madman and Rock. Taiwo said, you already know Poison, let me introduce the others to you. Demon Lady is an exceptional illusionist. Very few sector Lord warriors can escape her illusions. You should both know that the Demon Lady race all have exceptional enchanting abilities. At this time, the lady engulfed in fog smiled. Even though it made her face unclear, it made her seem even more mysterious. Tornado, a powerful fighter. The expressionless masked fighter with pointy ears glanced at them without saying anything. Mad Wu, spirit reader. The smiling purple-haired man nodded at them. God is this white-armored punk. Despite knowing the dangers, he still wears the most glaring white armor. He calls himself God, ha ha, he's another spirit reader. The white-armored man with white scales on his head smiled brightly like the sun. He gave off a feeling of warmth. It made Luo Feng deduce that this was definitely a sector lord trained in the light laws, and his comprehension level must be pretty high. Wei, is this bony fellow with the cat? The cat which had explored the universe for so many years was taken in by him. However, Wei cannot be underestimated. He is an illusionist too. His soul attack is very strong. Wei, who hugged the cat, only snorted as he glanced at the 2 of them. The last one, you can call him Hammer. He's a very steady and solid person from the Mother Flame race, and also a powerful fighter. The 6 m tall Mother Flame race sector Lord Wei smiled at the 2 of them. Poison, Demon Lady, Tornado, Mad Wu, God, Wei and Hammer, these were the 7 members of the team. They were all sector Lord Generals, definitely warriors that had survived countless battles. I'm a spirit reader. Luo Feng said. I'm a fighter. Rock said. From then on, the little team had 2 new members. After Luo Feng sent the request, he joined Team 026-208941. The next few days, Luo Feng and Rock would listen to stories and advice from the older soldiers. Even though both of them had background, they listened intently. What, Allied forces? Rock was shocked. Right, Allied forces. The main participants in this war are of course the 4 pinnacle races. However, all of them have other allied races. If we enter a battlefield, we will meet other allied forces, even though they are from other races, they are still our partners. Relax, the virtual universe system will tell you if they are our allies. If they don't, just kill them. Rock was stunned. Luo Feng sat quietly, allied forces. As a pinnacle race, humanity naturally had many subservient races, like the Goldhorn race. These races would naturally go to war too. Luo Feng knew about this long ago. The battlefield is cruel with high death rates, exceeding over 95%. Rock was shocked again. Only with a high death rate will absolute warriors be trained. Out of 20 new recruits, only 1 usually survives. However, it may take up to 20 normal sector lord soldiers to get rid of 1 elite, or even a general. Such high death rates and terrifying battles, plus countless treasures and ability to exchange for manuals etc. It's made the outer region wars the place where most absolute warriors are forged. An is a 95% death rate high. It's not high, from what I know, every 1,000 eras, there are huge scale battles where countless warriors face off against each other. Even Emperor-level Undyings have to be extremely careful. That death rate is what I consider high. I heard it exceeds 99%. However, we cannot engage in such battles frequently, even a pinnacle race would suffer huge losses, every 1,000 eras, it's still within our limit. Huge scale battle. Decisive battle. When will the next be? It's still early. Rock listened obediently. Luo Feng, who sat in the corner, frowned. He exclaimed within. The normal war that goes on already has a death rate over 95%. This is used to forge absolute warriors. It may seem like huge losses, in truth it's similar to creating a bug clan king, losing large amounts of normal sector lords to create one powerful one. Their chances of breaking through to Undying are much higher. Long periods of brutal war, that was training. And every 1,000 eras, a huge decisive battle, that was called the race meat grinder. After staying in the base for 8 days, Rock learnt of many new things that totally shocked him. Luo Feng, however, remained very calm. He had naturally learnt most of this online before. However, regarding the main experiences on the battlefield itself, he too had to listen to them. On the battlefield, there were countless other race warriors, with all sorts of strategies and methods. Undyings were hidden throughout, even Emperor-level Undyings could easily fall. How could he be careless? They stayed until the 9th day. This little sector lord team, with its new members, finally departed and headed to the battlefield. This video will end here.